minions. You're gonna have to learn some Spanish there, girl.
Ahorita un poquito español.
Un poquito.
Un poquito español.
Tiene que aprender mucho más que un poquito.
Okay, Cap, now you're doing too much.
You gotta start getting el arroz con pollo.
I know what that is.
Yeah.
Keep it flow.
Okay. 2:45 on the dot. Try to keep that pace. 2:50. Try to keep that pace.
What's it for, Janaya?
Lock! When I was in grammar school, believe it or not, back in the 50s, we used to have field day. And what I did was competed in it. I wasn't very fast, so I started throwing a shot put because I was bigger than a lot of the other kids in my grade, and I won. The results of that was I stayed with track and field as a way of staying in shape. I had a lot of friends on the team, and so it just continued. Even when I went to high school, I stayed in track and field, and I did field events, throws, jumps, hurdles, and the results were that I started to love track and field because it's the only sport that you can actually measure your progress, whether it's a time, a distance, or what have you. And I know that the more work you put into it, and you work on your techniques and you build up your strength, you will wind up being a better athlete, so to speak. And I needed that for football and basketball. Those were my main sports back in the day.
Success comes in different forms, right? It's not always about having the greatest athlete, but it is about getting the greatest out of an athlete. And I really feel like that Cap embodies that. He kind of demands excellence, and excellence doesn't mean you're the best, it means the best that you can be. And, just following Cap through the years, he's evolved as a coach. He was always a great coach, but he's always learned and evolved. And when I was prepping kids to come up to his program, I would tell them this is what you should expect. And don't think that you can, you can't slack off in effort, you can't miss practices, you can't have excuses. He's going to expect you to commit and work hard and be there every day and do the best that you can do.
So one day, I was coaching football at George Washington High School in Manhattan, and I was asked to go see the athletic director at Stuyvesant High School. This is 1974. They were looking for a track coach. So I went, the guy interviewed me, and he said, "You know anything about coaching girls?" I said, "No, I'm a football coach. What do I do about coaching girls?" He said, "Well, we have Title IX. Title IX now started in the state of New York, and we need track coaches to coach girls. So since you did track in high school, and you know something about the sport, you're now the new girls track coach." I said, "Okay." And the rest of it's history. The girls that I had on the team, they loved it. Because one of the things Mr. Moskowitz told me was, treat the girls like you treat the boys. So I started pretty rough on the girls. And you know what? They said, "You're treating us and you're making us run better, you're making us perform better." So the results of that was I became in love. I fell in love with the sport. I started branching out. I stayed at Stuyvesant for a couple of years, and I had moved to New Rochelle back in 1978, and I wound up applying for the job. I immediately jumped at the opportunity to coach the girls' track team at New Rochelle. I see kids today that I didn't see yesterday. On the 4x2 back in 2014, won the national championship. And they ran 138 in that 4x2. Those girls were really, really stoking it. And they beat some very good teams. It took a sophomore, Victoria Jones, who ran a great third leg, and the girl made a mistake. She was on the outside, and she decided on the turn to try to come inside, and she lost a step. and Victoria held her off. And I told Victoria, when you're running around a turn, don't hug the turn, run to the outside of the lane. And that caused the girl, oh, I can run inside, and caused her to almost stop and try to go inside of Victoria. And that edge, by the time we got, by the time we gave the stick to Peanut, Alyssa Donaldson, she took the anchor and held it off at the end to run 138, which is still held as a Section 1 record. For each one, nice and relaxed. Set, go. I told you if you're too slow.
I'm Elizabeth, now Coples. I ran as Elizabeth Mott, also known as Cookie. I graduated from Rochelle High School in 2008. I had the privilege of running for the best university in the world, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And I currently live in Georgia with my beautiful family. I have a wonderful husband and 4 beautiful children. Coach Cap, Caposaurus Rex, as I used to call him. Well, that's what he saved in my phone as. But Coach Cap is one of a kind. He's very necessary for, I feel, this next generation needs him more than we do. But Coach Cap is super committed, just so encouraging. He's such a great coach. He sees into his athletes. He knows how to pull the best out of us. And I really just enjoyed and feel so blessed to have been able to be coached by him. Cap has impacted me in so many different ways, but I would say the biggest impact he has had on me is helping me to increase my fight for the things that I want. It just never allowed me to make excuses.
15 seconds. Stand there. Multiplies exponentially. Go get some water. Your 5-minute break.
Lessons that he has taught me, I teach to my kids today, and I still live by. My favorite thing about Cap is just his heart, how much he cares. But he really does care about his athletes, and that's just one of the ways that he served us, not just coaching us to greatness, but also just being there for us.
Okay, that's 3 minutes, so you gotta go a little bit faster than that.
One day I was walking to the car with Cap, I had on my pants, they said track star, and he said, track star? Like, who do you think you are putting track star on your pants? Basically it was like, hey, you're not a track star, but if you want to be a track star, I can help you, but you have to decide that you want to be who you are advertising to be on your pants. Like, you have to decide that you're gonna fight, do whatever it takes, you're gonna do the hard stuff, you're gonna stay in it even when you don't want to. You have to make that decision. Be who you are advertising to be. And that was like the most memorable lesson that I got from him, because I made a decision that day and my entire career, track career changed, I believe, from that conversation.
Feel like you were sore because you had
If you could thank Cap for one thing, what would it be and why?
Oh boy, I just got emotional. I don't think if I ever would have run track that I would be the person that I am today. Cap he just brought so much out of me that I didn't know was in me. And I'm grateful for that. But more than anything, I met my husband because I got a scholarship to the University of North Carolina. And I have the best life that I could ever ask for. And honestly, it's because of track. It's because of Cap and track and my success. Cap, thank you. Thank you.
My name is Nana Hanson-Hall. I ran on the Rochelle High School girls track team from 1997 until 2003. So from 7th up till 12th grade. I went on to run all 4 years at Georgetown University. Currently, I serve as a research specialist at International Justice Mission, working to protect the most vulnerable from violence. Coach Cap, or Cappy, as we called him, one of his tasks at the time was to serve as a house principal. So it was really nice. We could stop by in his office during the day to talk. He tried to remind us often to stay focused on our goals and not get distracted by things that might divert our futures. So he always talked about not getting into boys and other unnecessary things. He really wanted us to focus on our futures, and that was important to him. He has had an impact of a culture and legacy of excellence. I would say that the way people look at New Rochelle High School as an athletic program and an academic program can be tied to the influence of Andy Capellan. Thanking Cap. Now, I could thank him for a host of things, and he's already heard this many times in the years that I've gotten to see him back in New Rochelle or Penn Relays, etc. But thank you, Coach Cap, for getting me out of my shell as a young girl moving from a different country and trying to find her way, and really for sparking and fanning the ambition that you saw in me and never letting me give up on myself. I appreciate you, and I'm eternally grateful.
Wow. Considering I almost died on the operating table, one of the thoughts that came to my mind is, would anybody know that I died? And if they did, how many people would show up to my funeral? You know, my wife says, oh, you're gonna have hundreds of people there. I don't know if that's true or not. And I don't know whether that would ever pass. You know, I would like to think that people would remember me as being tough but fair. And one of the things I really took pride in as a coach is that I gave every kid a chance. Not just having championships and things like that. That is not as important as giving every kid a chance to say, you know what, I ran track and field for one of the best coaches who ever coached the sport. This is 21 years ago. Wow. Oh boy, this is back in the day. This is from the 80s. Here's the legend Io Atterbury. She went out to the University of North Carolina. Some of these girls have passed, by the way. the fastest girls around, Lynn Lane. She holds the school record in the 100. 11.70. This is me. This is my first team that I ever coached at Stuyvesant High School. I haven't looked at these pictures in ages, but there's some more.